everyone, how is it going? I thought I'd like to address the hair situation real quick. So I had postpartum hair loss. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but I was rewatching one of my first videos and you can see I've got like these bald patches on my temples, but now it's growing back. So I have all of these like baby hairs, and because my hair is like kind of wavy, curly, it like whoosh, it's going everywhere. So that's a fun thing. So happy Tuesday. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to be here. I always have fun with these. Today, we're going to be talking about what to look for in a used sewing machine. I bought this sewing machine at a thrift store for $20. I actually haven't even plugged it in yet. So this might be horrendous because maybe it's like totally broken or something. I don't know. I thought I would kind of go through with you kind of my two sewing machines now, and thought I'd talk about questions that you should ask, things that you should look for when you're buying something. Now, I'm not going to go through all the if you're looking for this, you should buy this kind of sewing machine, because really I'm not that knowledgeable about different types of sewing machines and stuff, since I've only ever used 3 sewing machines in my whole life. But I thought I would give you some ideas about what to look for when you're looking for a used machine. Your local sewing machine store will also have used machines that you can browse. We'll talk about pros and cons of buying from a used place, whatever. What am I even saying? The baby keeps waking up in the middle of the night, so I'm a little... Anyway, if you are new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Nikita, and this is what I do. I drink and I sew things. So today I am drinking a Dead Guy Ale. I'm gonna pour less aggressively this time than I usually do. Look at that. So Dead Guy Ale is brewed by Rogue Brewing Company, which is actually located in Newport, Oregon. You can go tour their big brewing thing. Plus they have a distillery, their distillery tour. Amazing. And they have a restaurant. They have a couple of restaurants around Newport. So if you ever go to Newport, Oregon, might I recommend that you go to Rogue and then try their Dead Guy? Oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite beers, you guys. It's just this, it's not light, but it's not as the dark stouts I usually drink. I don't know what it is. It's just, so good. Okay, so crack open a beer, pop open a bottle of wine, pour yourself a cup of tea, and let's chat about sewing machines. Woo! In the description, I will put a PDF or something that has a list of all the things that I'm going to go through, so that you can print it out, or you can just click that and reference it when you go to look at your sewing machine or whatever. So you don't have to watch this whole video every time. Though I would appreciate it if you would watch. I love that. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Okay, I have to reference, I have a list on my phone. So number 1, you want to make sure that your sewing machine comes with extra feet. What the heck are sewing machine feet? Okay, these are sewing machine feet. They're the things that attach underneath the needle that help guide your fabric through. They have seam allowance and stuff. You can have different feet do different things. So this foot is meant for doing a blind hem or an overlock stitch. This foot is meant for quilting because it is a 1/4 inch, which is what most of your quilting seam allowances are. So this is great for quilting. This is a zipper foot. Okay, so you line it up on one side or the other so that your machine doesn't be all on top of a zipper. Gives you some straight seams. So your machine should come with at least one. I think this new machine here has one standard foot, but it doesn't come with any others. So if yours doesn't come with others, then you should make sure that you can find them. So do a quick Google search for the machine and the model and zipper foot or whatever. You'll probably be able to find a pack of multiple feet. So that could be an option if your machine doesn't come with them. But if you're buying it from like a person, like on Facebook Marketplace or something, I don't know, they probably should have extra feet, especially if you're buying it from a used place where they've, you know, my baby is awake. But if you're buying it from a used place, it probably should come with extra feet. The number of feet that you need depends on what kind of projects that you want to be doing. So if you are not going to be quilting at all, then maybe don't worry about a quilting foot. If you are never sewing a zipper, which I wouldn't recommend, it's super easy. I'll link a video right here for beginners. But anyway, if you don't want to sew a zipper, like don't have a zipper foot. But I would recommend that you at least have a walking foot, just like this, just like kind of a standard foot, okay? You have a zipper foot, you have an overlock foot. This is not necessary, but great for sewing hems. It is very helpful, and a quilting foot. Those are my recommendations. If you have other recommendations for people, you should put them in the comments, because these are the 4 that I use the most often. Make sure that it comes with a power cord and foot pedal. Like, I feel like these should be fairly self-explanatory, but like, you need the power cord and the foot pedal to make your machine work. So make sure that it comes with those. Or if you're like shopping at a thrift store, make sure that they're like bundled with it, or like go ask at the counter, like, hey, do you have the power cord for this, if it seems to be missing. My other recommendation would be to buy one that's a well-known brand. That is only because they will be easier to find parts for, like extra needles and extra feet. And if your sewing machine does break, then, you know, the place that you take it to is not having to like order parts or not be able to get them. Also, those more bigger, well-known brands tend to have a reputation because their machines are high quality and they last a long time. So you want to check out some of those well-known brands. If it's not well-known, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. So just do a little extra research. Quick Google search. This is a Montgomery Ward sewing machine reviews. And then just kind of scroll through and read what other people have to say about them. Some of those more well-known brands are like Singer, Brother is another one, Bernina, is that how you say it? Let's see, Baby Lock is another one, Genome, Husqvarna Viking. That's what I've researched. I've never heard of that brand, but apparently they're supposed to be good. I don't know. Don't take my personal recommendation on it. Another thing, just hold on, I need to take a drink. I just filmed the entire video and realized that the camera wasn't filming. Awesome! All right, well, let's pick up from where I left off, I guess. Another thing is that you should ask if it has a needle threader, or ask if there's a trick to threading it, because this machine doesn't have a needle threader, so you have to like thread it through by your eyeball, which might not work for some people. So ask if there's a trick, or ask if it does in fact have a needle threader. My FAF has a needle threader. So nice. So nice. Think about getting one with a needle threader. Just like, it's so much easier. Anything that makes your sewing journey easier, makes your sewing experience more fun, like having a drink or just like having a podcast or whatever going, it's going to make it more enjoyable for you, which means you'll do it more and you'll enjoy yourself more, which is what we want. Bring a piece of fabric with you so that you can test out how the machine sews. Are the threads, are the stitches straight? Does it make any weird clicking noises? Or does it like tug or not tug? Maybe the feed dogs, which are those like kind of weird grady thingies underneath, they help move the fabrics to keep your stitches even. Make sure that those are working properly so that they are bringing your fabric through. Bring something that you sew a lot. Like, I sew a lot of fleece, right? This is probably the thickest fabric that I sew with most regularly. So this is just a scrap, and I would just bring a scrap of this with me to see how would it work on projects that I normally sew on. I would also recommend trying out a couple of different stitches and looking at what kinds of stitches does the machine come with. So this FAF machine comes with hundreds, literally hundreds. I've probably used like 6. So if that's something that you love, like you want to use all these decorative and quilting stitches and you want options, then maybe go for one that has like a ton. This machine, this Montgomery Ward machine, only has 12, which is kind of nice. I guess technically it has 13 because stitch number 1 is both a straight and a zigzag stitch. But that's what you want. You want a straight stitch and you want a zigzag stitch. You might also want your machine to be able to create buttonholes if that's something that you want. My FAF machine does. I don't think this one does. But luckily for me, I don't sew a lot of buttonholes. Button holes. Say button, button. Gosh, it's like a party. So this machine has 12, and a lot of these older machines, you just turn the dial. You can go to different stitches. I would test out a couple of different ones just to see what they look like, see how the machine handles them. In the middle is where you set it to dial number 1 for a straight or a zigzag stitch, and then you turn the middle section and that will show you how zigzaggy the stitch will get. Make sure your machine doesn't have, or the machine you're potentially buying, doesn't have any cracks anywhere. Cracks in the plastic, not good. I guess cracks in metal would probably be worse. You also want to make sure that it doesn't have any rust anywhere. Make sure that it is in decent shape, right? So inspect front, back, top, sides, bottom. Inspect everywhere. Make sure it doesn't have any rust or cracks. I think dings, you know, little dings are probably okay depending on the size. I mean, like, if it's like a really large ding, you would want to know, like, what happened here? Ask when it last got a tune-up or it was serviced or repaired. So you should probably bring your machine in like once a year, at least, depending on how often you use it, I guess. If it's an individual person you are buying from, you want to ask them when was the last time they brought it to a shop and had it serviced. If you are buying from a shop, they will tell you, oh, we serviced it on this date, because that's what they do before they sell the machines, which is another point. Buying from a shop versus buying from a person. Okay, I don't want you to get the idea that if you buy from a shop, you're not buying from a person. But you know what I mean, like a third party individual versus a sewing machine shop. So a sewing machine shop will sell brand new machines. They will also sell used machines that they have serviced, repaired, and then are now putting up for sale. The downside is that it will be more expensive than buying from a third-party individual person. However, you'll know that it was professionally serviced and cleaned and repaired so that it's in like tip-top shape. A lot of times they'll come with warranties too. So if your machine does end up having an issue, then they'll deal with it. You don't get that same warranty when buying from a person, but you'll probably find that it's cheaper. But it may not have been serviced recently. If you're buying from a thrift store, like I bought this one, then that takes all of the guessing, right? I have no idea when it was last serviced, if it's ever been serviced. I mean, obviously it's old. I should probably take it to get serviced, which will add to your cost. So a sewing machine shop will be more expensive, but if you want to take it to get serviced, then you'll need to pay $150, $180. I don't know what necessarily it is in your local sewing machine shop to have it serviced and repaired. In my local one, I believe it's $180, and that will add, I spent $20 on this, right? So $180, so this will be a $200 sewing machine if I do indeed take it to get serviced or repaired. Just some things to think about. Let's take a drink real quick. All right, next thing. Can you remove the sewing machine arm? You want to make sure that you can remove it. It's really nice when you're like hemming things, or like if you make snuggle sacks. it's nice to be able to remove it to give you a smaller area to be able to slip some fabric around. So can you remove the arm? Also, is it easy to open up the machine to clean it? My Pfaff has this like bobbin case that you have to turn the machine like upside down, remove all these screws, and then you can get the bobbin case out, which is a pain in the butt, especially if you're having some issues with that bobbin, a thread gets like stuck in there or something. This machine, this new one, just has 2 levers that you pop off, and then you can remove the bobbin. You can clean inside of there where all that lint and nastiness gets, and you can put it back together. So ask the person you are buying from to show you how to open up the machine so you can see how easy it is. And then you can also get a little peeky inside the inner workings of the machine and make sure it's like not all nasty and stuff. No? The last thing that you need to consider, the size and weight of the machine. I would pre-measure the area that you are going to put your sewing machine. So if it's like a specific spot of a table or something, you want to make sure that the spot you want your machine will actually fit there. I know it doesn't necessarily look it, but this Pfaff machine is actually slightly larger than this Montgomery Ward machine. It weighs more too. So if you are going to be moving your machine a lot, taking it to quilting retreats, or maybe you have to like pack it up because you share your sewing machine area with, you know, like an office area or playroom or something, and you need to put it away, you want to think about how heavy is it? Am I going to have to be lifting this all the time? If not, don't worry about it. It can weigh 1,000,000 pounds. Well, maybe not. You still do have to like get it onto your sewing table. Your sewing table still does have to be able to support the weight of it. But if you are going to be, you know, packing it up, unpacking it, moving it lots of places, maybe you're a traveling seamstress. I don't know, is that a thing? But if it is a thing and that's you, you want a machine that's nice and light. So make sure that before you like say, yes, I'm gonna buy your machine, like pick up the machine, make sure that you can easily lift it and stuff. I think that's all I have for you. I mean, there's probably other things that maybe I'm not thinking of, but if you think of them, I would appreciate it if you would like stick it in the comments and then other people could see, oh, look all the stuff that Nikita forgot. But no, I do appreciate it when you guys are like, are you sure that's the way to do it? I mean, in a respectful way, obviously, because like, I don't know everything. I'm just like, you know, an amateur sewist over here. I am not a sewing machine expert. I don't know if I said that already. I'm not a sewing machine expert. Let me just repeat it. I am not a sewing machine expert. So when I'm giving you these tips and advice, these are things that I do when I'm looking at these used machines, but I don't buy a lot of used machines. I don't sell them. Step right up. Get your used sewing machine. Only $20. Anyway, the point is there may be some things that I missed. So I will put a PDF in the description that has a list of all the things that I've talked about so that you can like print it or I don't know, whatever. You can look at it. Okay. I hit 1,000 subscribers recently. I just want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. You. Yes, you. I appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Thank you guys for liking and commenting on my videos, and I appreciate it when you follow me on Instagram and you interact, and I just, it makes me all like warm and bubbly inside, you know? Like a beer. Except beers probably shouldn't be warm, they should be cold and bubbly. I'm cold and bubbly inside. That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, go forth, buy a sewing machine, buy all the sewing machines. I might even ask like somebody that you know, or maybe like put a plea on Facebook or something and say like, hey, anybody got a sewing machine that they want to give me? I don't know why I'm talking like this. I bet you know somebody who's got a sewing machine like stuck in the back of their closet, and they would be happy to sell it to you or give it to you. So I would maybe start there before you try going to like a, you know, sewing machine place. Though, I mean, support your local businesses if you're able to. Anywho, the moral of the story is that you should enjoy sewing. So make sure that you buy a machine that is easy for you to use, easy for you to thread, and make sure that you have something enjoyable nearby. You know, cup of tea, box of Thin Mints, murder podcast, the works. And I just really appreciate you guys. That's the other moral of the story. So anyway, I hope that you had a great time with me today, because I sure did. And then I'd appreciate it if you stick around. You can drink along and sew along with me on my next video. Thanks for watching.